welcome to episode 201 of Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Today, Mike, we're testing out not blowing our fans' eardrums out. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I manually turned down the sound this time instead of relying on our templates. So we'll see how that goes. I appreciate everybody that did reach out to let us know that their bleeding ears weren't a big fan of
not for everyone.
Of cleaning up the mess, I guess. Yeah. All right. First
Timmy,
fan
how you doing?
Timmy. We got to talk again, Timmy, because I still got to send you something, and somehow we ended our conversation last time, and I didn't get an address to send you anything. So let's hook up again. If you want, it's admin@BOD podcast. You know what? I'll post it. I'm gonna type it up right now. So anybody watching the live show, now you can email us. You can send us questions and stuff.
Timmy, we're definitely trying to send you free stuff, not get your contact information so you can update the warranty on your car.
Cool. That's exactly what we needed to say. All right, Timmy, seriously, don't let him scare you.
It's a brand new cell phone service. You're going to love it.
Now, Fethdar's really excited. He says, "Oh, buddy, it's going to be a banger." It absolutely should be, because we have some fun topics to discuss today. All right, Mike, we've run into this before. Are the comments actually popping up on your screen?
They are populating like a mother.
And you see a Fethdar comment right now?
Oh, hell yeah, I do. That's my boy, Feth.
Woo! Well, Tristan's coming in hot. I see Zadina. Let me read through this. Let
me see this. This limerick.
Wait. Oh, wow. Okay, here's what happened. I was reading a comment, and we got a huge update real quick, so I missed everything. Here's Tristan. If we get a first and A or B prospect offer for Zadina, I'm afraid I'd take that while it lasts. You just
Tristan, where were you last week, brother? We needed you on our side.
Yeah, we got into some heavy arguments. We needed that perspective. Brannis is here. What's up, my man? Tristan continues. He's been my favorite player, and I sure hope he turns things around. But unfortunately, he just doesn't appear in my eyes for top 6 of the future. Maybe we keep him as a third liner. Well, here's the tease. Mike, I absolutely wanted to throw that in there, and Tristan, we'll come back to these comments, because we've got on the docket today. We're going to be going through Corey Pronman's, and we know Zadina's 22. Corey Pronman's new list of the under 23 prospects across the league. So we'll go over where he's got Lucas ranked. We'll go over where he's got Trevor Zegras ranked. We got Seider, of course, Edmondson, and included in that list Zadina, Joe Veleno, Cossa's on there. And I stopped reading, but it was either a list of 150 or 200 players. So, Mike, we've got some fun ways to dissect that list as well. Dom Luszczyzn put out his player cards. So we've been going through evolving hockey player cards for a while. We've had Jay Fresh player cards. So Dom's got his stuff out there. They're definitely pretty. Okay. But we're going to go through them. I actually pulled every single card from every Red Wing. So if you guys, I don't know. I don't even think you need an athletic subscription. Maybe you do. But, hey, you don't need one now, because we're going to give it to you for free on YouTube. We'll just cross Dom off as a future guest of the show. And what else do we have, Mike? Well...
Oh, I know I wanted to just mention this very weird Evander Kane situation.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
And a little Red Wing connection on this one. So the storyline, did you want to open with this?
Go for it. Yeah, well, let's we'll get this one out of the way.
Yeah, just a successful forward for the Sharks. And they put him on waivers. Ultimately, the goal is to release him for his scandal involving COVID-19, where it's looking like he had a fake vaccination card. And the word came out today because somebody talked to him. So as soon as anybody, takes a whiff at, maybe acquiring him, that's going to be a news story. And when the crawl went across the screen, it said Edmonton Oilers GM reaches out to Evander Kane just to get a feel for what's going on. Lest we forget, Matt, we are well acquainted with that man. That man's Ken Holland, who, was part of the Red Wings for a pretty long time. And I guess right now, Evander Kane, you should kind of be keeping him at arm's length. I don't know if we've quite forgiven him yet. I know we forgive a lot of things in sports, as long as they perform well enough. And I'm sure this will be forgiven as well, and he'll probably be on the ice sooner rather than later than you'd expect. But my favorite thing was how Holland justified this conversation so soon, Matt. To quote Holland, "Well, I've talked to Evander Kane's agent. His agent is Dan Milstein, and I know Dan very well because he was Pavel Datsuk's agent, and I had lots of dealings with Dan Milstein. So I've talked to Dan Milstein, his agent." So I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious that he dropped a Datsuk on us to make it look like it's okay for him to, broach this player at this time.
Yeah, it's not a fun conversation to have because number one, I don't like talking about Ken Holland. I don't wish for him to fail more, but he definitely fell out of my good graces near the end of the Red Wing career. I know we're supposed to look back and go look at everything he gave us, but also if you take a little deeper, there's a lot of luck and some other guys that made good decisions.
There's a lot of Advocator and Darren Hell contracts that were finally out from underneath. So
10 years of that. That's kind of roll downhill fast. Anyways, this it still goes in that direction though, that I wasn't like hoping he was just gonna shoot Connor McDavid into the into the ground, because you want to see him have success. It's a tough situation. And clearly, Ken Holland's coming off of this press conference of announcing, which I thought Ryan Lambert of EliteProspects.com said this. I mean, the title of his article was fantastic, but he's talking about how Ken Holland is not going to go into the trade market, heading towards the trade deadline for his Edmonton Oilers. He says, there's enough on this team, and there's free agents available, of course, leading to the conclusion that maybe Kane is going to be his free agent. There's enough on this team to get us through this season. So Ryan Lambert titled an article that said, we've tried nothing and I've exhausted all options. So just it's a brilliantly penned article by Mr. Lambert, of course, friend of the show. Mike, he's just not having. I don't want to say he's not having any luck, because he just seems to be burying himself. I mean, he's making decisions for the Oilers that just haven't gone well. This isn't an Oilers podcast, so I don't want to talk about it too long. But if you want to focus strictly on Evander Kane, my hope would have been he would have just disappeared. What we didn't mention yet was that his, not only with the fake COVID vaccination card, which, whatever. But then he also is accused of just breaking protocol on for the minor league affiliate, and he just was like, "Oh, they told me it was fine, even though I was under COVID protocol. They said it was fine." And it's just like this silly, childish he said, she said, and it's just like, what are we doing? Clearly, his stature gives credence to him being a grown man, but there's very little that he's done recently to show any evidence that he's not in a Benjamin Button situation.
I think bringing up a player like him, I think it's relevant in that we know our Red Wing team has a lot of open spots where we could use some more talent. And obviously, Franz Nielsen, Fethstar dropping another Franz Nielsen contract on Holland's resume. Woo, woo, that's an ugly one. You don't come back from that wart.
You know what? I got it. Credit to Bredis. He threw that out there first. Ken Holland signs him for 5 years. And then Kristen's like, Kane to the exact contract he had in San Jose.
I was just curious for our folks. like this Red Wing team, we know that there's a lot of spots where we could use some more talent. I mean, I just don't think that we're at a point where we would look at Kane. I know that Yzerman has looked at reclamation projects, but they haven't been character issues. He's only looked at guys who've had, problems. Maybe their talent hasn't quite developed or they haven't quite produced yet. Those kind of seem like the guys, like the good attitude guys.
The bummer of it all is there were pro scouts from the Detroit Red Wings in the middle of this whole fiasco that were checking them out. So we do want to throw that out there. It was reported that the Wingdings were at least taking a look, but whatever and that means that, to be completely honest, they said from a personal perspective, that's not enough for us to say we're not going to check out his attributes. What does he look like as a player style? So that's kind of a bummer. I'll throw that out there.
So you're out on Evander.
What?
You're out on Evander.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't touch that.
If it was Connor McDavid who had a fake vaccination card, is the issue the sin or the skill of the player?
You gotta ask the right questions at that point, right? I mean, how much should we pay?
Gotta do your due diligence.
McDavid
Yeah,
at that time? Is this like we're doing a league minimum contract because he's already getting paid by the Oilers, and they had to. Let's ask all the right questions before we just write off Connor McDavid. I mean, you don't want to be ridiculous here.
That's
Mike.
The bigger question then, right? Is it that he's not a good enough player that you would want to bring him in? So it's not necessarily it's a sin, but is it the sin that doesn't make you want to bring him in, or he's not good enough?
Yeah, and the easy thing is for both of us to sit here and go, obviously, for both of those guys, we're not going to bring them in. And, of course, I played out, jokingly that you would consider Connor McDavid. But I'd like to think, as a human being, I would say no to both because they don't carry themselves the way I would expect. I'm not going to be, Mike, we live in Michigan, so sometimes that phrase of like we hear like a Michigan.
I don't know, man. I think you'd be at that Stanley Cup parade.
Huh?
I know we won, but Connor, I don't know if I approve of your methods. Woo!
Yeah,
I'm 22.
I'm going to the parade, but I'm going to have my back turned.
Yeah, with a mirror held up.
But that's right. That's the long and short of it. I'd like to think I'd make the right choice. I think the right choice is to let him fade off into the sunset. And, I'm not in that position, but I'd like to think I would make the right choice of just saying no. Also Ken Holland is making the decision to potentially sign him. I think that's enough evidence anybody needs to know that this is the wrong decision to make. So, yeah.
So does Ken Holland's interest concern you more than the fake COVID test?
No,
Holland's talent assessment ability?
No, I think I spelled out the priorities properly.
I was just trying to get a good soundbite, man, that we could put on loop somewhere.
I know. You're going to rip it. You're going to finally learn how to edit audio once I say, of course, I don't mind.
That's what I'm waiting for, man. I've been ready for ages, just waiting.
We'll wrap this up. Brennis thrown out there. Ken did good things. You did get lucky, too. Then you relied too much on the luck. I'll never understand the long contracts to players who aren't superstars. Great point. Actually, I gotta vet these, but I'm just throwing them up there. I think Kane is a fantastic opportunity to bring in some scoring, get him back on his feet, and flip him for other players of picks.
Performance art. He could be like a hat trick and a public apology from being loved by Red Wing fans, including maybe Matt. No, I can't tell if your video died or I stunned you with my comment.
I was waiting for like a next.
No, I was just saying.
More. Okay,
I'm on performance art side. I think he's a hat trick and a public apology away from being beloved.
I'm not. So you guys can run your dirt franchise, and I'm gonna have my squeaky clean franchise. Tristan's got the best point. This will be a good transition for us. I just kind of want to hit the fast forward on this season to get to the off season. It's going to be a biggie for us. Absolutely. You know what? This is a terrible transition though, but Mike,
what's up?
Did you catch all the fun? Did you catch all the fun? What's going on? on Twitter last night or Twitter this morning. Kodak Black was at the Florida Panthers game. NHL was quick to say hello. But this morning, the tweet was deleted.
Was that the dance that was going on in the suite? Oh, is that what I saw?
It might have been a dance. It's
it looked like two people at a dance party. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say this is a good opportunity to hide your kids. If you have the kids watching.
Do you have the Tell me you have the footage. Yes.
Yeah, great opportunity to hide the kids right now. Let's mute this. Did everybody get a chance to see this?
Nope. Let's see it again.
As big as possible for anybody watching on YouTube right now.
I'm ready.
To call play-by-play here. Kodak Black and his lady friend clearly.
I think she dropped her contact lens. Yes. And he was trying to help her find it.
Yeah, and she was helping steady him as he looked past her shoulder.
Drop contacts are no joke. Yeah,
definitely setting up a tripod-like situation to make sure that they held their balance. So a very family-friendly video here, clearly, because they're really just trying to help each other out. One grabbing a contact lens, and of course the other just helping a friend out by keeping them stiff.
Man, I would do the same for you.
Thanks.
And I don't mind who videotapes that and puts it on Twitter. I would help you find a drop contact lens.
Thank you.
Or maybe she's used to Velcro and he had to kind of help her tie her shoe, kind of thing. So,
now it was actually reported later. I wonder if I can find this real quick. There was a video right in the suite of Kodak Black. I'm not going to but the video is them just kind of dancing. Like you could get a close-up look. They're fine. Okay, they weren't actually doing anything, but it was Down Goes Brown on Twitter. I think won Twitter today with the so tired of watching the NHL and thinking somebody scored only to have it overturned after the replay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was, as the NHL goes, once it finally makes national news, it's either incredibly fun or it's, or we get like Olympics.
I mean, what's the point of having a luxury suite if you can't have a dance party?
Yeah, exactly.
Good for him.
Performance art. What is wrong with people? Tristan, the other video is worse. What do you mean? Well, I would say it's better only because we can confirm that everybody's pants are on from across the arena. So this is for all the podcast listeners that they got a play-by-play, but they did miss out on what the actual view is. You have from an across the arena video of Kodak Black in his suite watching the Florida Panthers game. So your mind can go to places. Now, Tristan, you make a great point. It's not like they were, having a nice, fun game of Twister. Clearly, there was some grinding. It got very physical. But now we know they had pants on and they weren't doing the nasty. All right. So that was fun. I thought that was a fun segment. Clearly, as the viewership drops, nobody else did. Tristan, pants have zippers. That's true. All right. So I stand corrected. Tristan nailed it. There may still have been a pants party, a pantsless party.
Well, I'm having a party watching that video. I enjoyed it a lot.
What's up, Timmy? Pants are on, zippers up. No one can say. All right. Nope. So here's some more. This is legitimate NHL news, Mike. We have NHL Central Scouting coming in. Whew. And can y'all see that slide, Mike? You can see that.
Matt, it looks pretty center heavy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now this is the North American skaters. I mean, what are we going to pull from this? This is not going to end up going the way. This won't line up 1 to 20, and I say 20 because there's also the European skaters that we'll look at in a second here. But I mean, no surprises, right? Shane Wright, I think.
Is that another Hughes brother?
you want to look this up?
Sure. Yeah, keep going.
The question marks I saw today online. I'm sorry, I'm switching between screens here. Logan Cooley, Matty Savoy, maybe that could flip. Connor Geeky might move up a little bit. But yeah, just to run through this list for anybody on the listen to the podcast. Shane Wright, number 1. Logan Cooley, number 2. Matty Savoy, number 3. Connor Geeky. Pavel Mintyukov, number 5. Of course, classic North American skater name. Cutter Gauthier. Jack Hughes, as Mike mentioned, at number 7. Great name here. I don't know if it's a great hockey name because we know Rutgerd McGroarty is farther down this list, but just a great name. Jimmy Snuggard. Huh? I like that name. Maybe Snuggerud. Maybe somebody can tell me how to actually pronounce that.
I'm gonna call him Snugglebud.
Denton Matejchuk. There you go. And Tristan, you'll like this guy, Tristan Leno. Wouldn't it be great if we found out that was like Tristan's number 10, the guy that's been watching our episodes? He's number 10 on the North American list for NHL Central Scouting. Now, if we move over to number 2 here, because I see Tristan thrown out there, I see a juicy fat lamb falling to us, Brad Lambert. Now, he is number 5 on the international skaters. I said European. Joachim Kimmel actually comes in as number 1 on the NHL. For the international skaters. He was the name they pointed to in their little fake article that they wrote. Joachim Kimmel. This is going to be... Whew. All right, here we go. Juraj Slavkovsky from Slovakia is number 2. Danila Yurov, number 3. David Juracek, number 4.
I'm going Juracek.
Brad Lambert, one of those two, is number 5. Simon Nemec, number 6. Marco Kasper, that's a nice name. Marco, good job. That's easy. All right, here we go.
Oh, I want this one. Ivan Miroshchenko. We tried this one before, didn't we?
That's why I wasn't excited.
I remember that guy. Jonathan Lekaramaki, and then Alexander Perevalov.
Yeah. All right. No, you should have done this segment. This is clearly you're doing a much better job. Performance art thrown out. I hope Connor Geeky was a big boy growing up. Do we have a list of his attributes right now? Now, this list coming out, I think right now we would be getting 1, 2, 3, the 13th pick. So between these 20 guys, a very good chance one of them is going to be a Detroit Red Wing. So I think that's where you guys want to start with this conversation. Clearly, to just learn 20 names and the backgrounds of all these guys. I think we all are familiar with Shane Wright. We also all know that he's been dropping down the list for a for sure number 1 pick. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if he stands strong. But yeah, if you guys want to start somewhere, I think this is the best place to start with these 20 names, because we're talking 13, right? We're talking 13 prospects. So you've got about 20 different, if you go to eliteprospects.com, you can get this list, but like 20 different sources for all of this prospect information, like probably legit 10, pretty good 15, 20 total. So you can get all the details, the fine details from everybody. But again, if we're picking like 13 or whatever, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be one of these 20 guys. So also pretty good chance it'll be a center. Look at all these centers, just a smorgasbord of centers. How many? Oh, well, I guess we only have 2 on the international skaters top 10. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centers here on the North American skaters, including top 4. Who knows if they'll pan out that way, but looking good for the Wingdings, looking for a center. And if you want to say we're looking for a 2C, much more likely to find a 2C than to find the 1C. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. Kanye, Mike,
Yep.
Easy's here. Kanye thrown out. I hope we land Lambert, or Geeky. Lambert's my guy. That's I'll keep my fingers crossed. I think what we could do is probably talk about Nicklas Lidstrom coming aboard because there were some things that were said in that press conference beside Nicklas Lidstrom coming aboard that might help us out in that regard. I think. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
All right. Well, we had a little itty bitty discussion on the trade deadline. But you know what? Let's before we do that, let's. I have a nice little video here. I wanted to share with y'all because I thought this was my favorite part of the Nicklas Lidstrom announcement, and of course, Nicklas Lidstrom, now the VP of Hockey Operations, as Steve Yzerman defined it, he will have his fingers in everything Detroit Red Wings. It's a sticky situation to be in. Anywhoozles, Nicklas Lidstrom, of course, is again, as Steve put it, somebody that he looked to as an NHL player. I don't know if you want to say for assistance, for advice, however you want to put that. Steve put it as someone that he's always looked to. And clearly, we're getting something that is an already built and established relationship, someone he knows he can trust. And by the sounds of it, for Lidstrom, this was just a matter of time before it started, which I think bodes well for this move. Only because Lidstrom was waiting for his kids to move out. He's waiting for him to be all grown up before he made a move like this personally to come back and work for the Red Wings. And I would say that if this was the plan all along, that's a lot different than it just being like, well, now we're going to bring in a hockey operations guy and, Lidstrom's going to interview for this and he did the best job. I think that his hockey mind has carried him. Obviously he has the hockey smarts. We know that he's probably going to go down in history as one of the
smartest. I guess that was my question: is why now? Was it? Are we deducting then that this is just related to like Lidstrom personal stuff is out of the way, so that's why he's ready after the new year?
That's what I would say. Based on that press conference, this was just a matter of time before they got started. So he was ready to go. And I think that bodes well because if this was a part of the plan, very different from, just we had to bring in this position. I think Steve has probably been chomping at the bit, waiting for Nick to be ready to go. And those are all good signs. And I don't think anybody's looking at this and thinking to themselves, oh, I don't know. I think, this is a role. I hate to say it, but I mean, like we've seen some guys get put into executive roles that I wouldn't trust to get my McDonald's order right. Like based on how they used to play in the NHL. There aren't a lot of names I can point to from like the Red Wings organization. I'm glad that, they haven't gone as so far to go like, you know what, we need Darren McCarty to come in here and pick out some grinders for us. So, I mean, the decisions they've made so far make a lot of sense. And you go back to like this winning mentality that they want to build and where probably the top two names anybody can name in the current regime would probably be Steve Yzerman and Chris Draper. Draper didn't come equipped with the skill of a Steve Yzerman or a Nicklas Lidstrom, but came equipped with the brain that would get him that far. He put himself always in position to play well. And he had the wheels every now and then, but I'm speaking more of he's making the right decision on when to use those wheels, when he was a penalty killer for us. I mean, you talk about a strong penalty killer for as long as he was doing it, and to his latest careers he was doing it. Clearly, he knew where to put himself at the right time. So that's something where he knows how to look for that. For Lidstrom and us having so make that relation, right? Like Draper can suss out, he can sniff out where the hockey smarts are across prospect pools, things like that, especially with what Draper's job is. Now we have some of those prospects on the team. Now we need a guy that's going to put his fingers directly into the guys that are in our prospect pool. They've been drafted, they're ours now. And a lot of the names that we point to are European. You could go down the list and say Swedish. And you could also say defenseman. So I don't know if you could make a better move without, without any clear, like, oh, this guy has the experience. Like you brought in Steve Yzerman. He built that Tampa Bay Lightning team to be ready to almost win a third Stanley Cup in a row. So that's a whole nother conversation. When you're talking about, a guy that's going to be making decisions on, and I'm sort of guessing here, this is how this job works, but who are the coaches that are going to help this team find the most success? Speaking to Moritz Seider, speaking to Edvinsson, what development paths should they take so that they find themselves on a similar path to Lidstrom? What did Lidstrom see in his years when he was a defenseman that he knows he needs to fill these different spots so that if he's on the ice, if he's off the ice, what other spots need to be filled? But if he's on the ice, who needs to be paired with him? Those are the types of things that if he's looking at Moritz Seider and he's looking at Simon Edvinsson and painting themselves as, they're, who cares if they're going to be? But if he just tells themselves, these are our Nicklas Lidstroms for this franchise, what do these guys need to be successful? What did I have to find my success? And clearly, some of those answers are like, well, you got to draft Sergei Fedorov. So it's not always going to be that easy. But when it comes to the things that are in your control, that's the kind of voice, that's the kind of brain you want in your system. So if for anybody that's like, well, why would you just bring aboard? Is that just his buddy? We just trying to get the band back together. There you have it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if he's any good at this job. We know he's a pretty good defenseman. So it kind of be, I'm not trying to be like contrary to you, but it's cool. I remember Lidstrom. He's a Hall of Fame player. We'll see how he is as an executive, but nothing there yet. So I'm gonna kind of sit tight. Hopefully he's, if we're gonna make like a Detroit sports connection, hopefully he's, helps Yzerman. He's more of a Joe Dumars and less of an Isaiah Thomas as an executive, who's an absolute nightmare who cratered multiple teams along his journeys.
I'm gonna do one more thing, and just to make you feel better about it. And this is for everybody. I see performance art. You have some questions in there about why now, kind of stuff. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm more on like Tristan's side here. Where is it? We have the best front office in the league right now. It's not even a question.
I think if we're going to have like a beer league game between all the front offices, we would kick some ass.
Right. That's true. We'd be ready to go. But
we pull Ozzy out of the booth, get in the goal. Murph, lace him up.
No, I'm going to play devil's advocate in a second, but to put everybody's headspace where my head's at, let's not forget that this is also one of Steve Yzerman's decisions. Right? Yeah, how many horrible decisions has he made so far? I don't think he's making a decision just for PR's sake.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely gets the benefit of the doubt. I'm just not really to, snow my pants. I can't
believe you're ready to fire Steve Yzerman because he hired Nicklas Lidstrom.
I'm just not ready to snow my pants because I recognize Lidstrom's name as a assistant executive.
Mike, you and performance art.
Performance art, me and you are vibing, buddy. Yeah, you know what? Performance art. What I'm wondering is,
I don't like
the being suspicious. It's like that is the kind of move where, all right, we're bringing in Lidstrom. Also, we got Evander Kane. What? Well, we brought in this really nice guy, so hopefully you guys can digest the questionable one. No? I don't know, Matt. I watched enough professional wrestling that usually when we get something nice, it means something weird is right around the corner. So I don't know if this means a Bertuzzi trade is imminent, an Evander Kane signing is imminent, a Zadina trade for a fourth rounder is imminent. I don't know what's going to happen.
I got to throw out there. JM, podcast listener, glad to catch the live. Good to have you, my man.
Yeah, JM, also give us a little 411 if the sound quality is coming in better this episode.
Oh, yeah, that could be JM could be one of our good friends that let me know that their eardrums were bleeding. So that
I mean, I know we do get amped once in a while, but yeah, we don't want that to continue.
Well, I mean, you hate when I pull back the curtain, but we were too quiet. So
Don't do
everybody
it.
turned up their headphones all the way. So then at the end of the episode, when we say goodnight, the music goes up to 100. So everybody's got their headphones turned up all the way. And we switched to that metal music. So it's, yeah, that hurts. All right. JM says everything sounds good. All right.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, this is what I told my wife last night. You ready? So I said, I want to play devil's advocate. I want to get your thoughts. And I told you, Mike, we probably have like 2 episodes of content.
You rolled over in bed
and I
to
went,
the mother of 2 who works full-time as a doctor. And what hockey question did you pose to your poor mother of 2 full-time doctor wife? What did you ask her, Matt? What profound question did you wake her up with? Honey, psst, honey. Matt, let's hear it.
This is perfect for like that meme of like, I bet he's thinking about other women. And then it just cuts to me. What if the Red Wings signed Nicklas Lidstrom because the same reason they signed Steve Yzerman? And it's because it's going to take forever to rebuild this team. And we're not going to get mad at either one of them.
Honey, do you think this was about his ability as an executive or more of a goodwill move? Honey, to soften the blow of another 10-year rebuild. Also, it's your turn to get Teddy.
So, like, right, like they're crossing Zadina off the list. They're like, Veleno's not gonna be better than a 3C. So yeah, it's another 10 years, I'd say. And they have this timeline mapped out. Like, well, no, we're gonna make the playoffs in like 2 years, but then it's gonna tank hard. So yeah, then Lidstrom comes on and we're like
maybe they secretly already did the lottery. Oh man, we're drafting at 15. Oh my god.
What is it? The Illuminati? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like the Illuminati level of conspiracy in the NHL. They've already pulled the next 5. Like who's getting the first pick. They already know who's going to finish last in the league for the next few years. Oh, man. See, that's why you got to be transparent, Mike, as a podcast, because we need everyone to know when we mess up so that we can, have the NHL catch on to that someday and be like, you know what? We have been cheating all of these draft lotteries for years. They're going to punish us now because Lucas Raymond worked out to be the best pick out of the, what was that? Oh my God. Yeah, that was the 2020 draft. Jesus. Where does that 1.5 years go?
Where does it go?
Performance Art says, wouldn't Draper be the natural line of succession for that job?
You'd think somebody with a little bit of experience, but instead we're going with this new hot young executive, Nick Lidstrom.
No, I mean, think about it. Like, this is what my point was. Like, he's clearly been a part of decision making before, because this was all about when Lidstrom was ready. It wasn't about we needed this position to be filled.
It was when Lidstrom was ready with no experience, not Draper being ready with experience. Got it.
All right, Timmy's got a real question. Performance art. That was a real legit comment. I'm talking about myself. To that point, how far into the rebuild do you think we are? I'm going to say
we are the most 500 team in NHL history. We had a crappy West Coast trip, and somehow we still went 0, 1, and 2. So we maintained our 500-ness through this.
I'm going to say this. Yeah. Being in a rebuild and being done with it is very hard to say, like, what's the finished product. If your finished product is, I think the season starts and there's no question that team is a playoff contender. Is that we're not talking Stanley Cup contender. We're not even talking having to win at Stanley Cup. We're talking next season starts. You're booked in that top 3 in the division when everybody's rolling out their predictions for the year. I would say we're a little bit further away than that than maybe people give credit. I think us being just in the wild card conversation is happening now. But for it to be the season starts and you've got your Hockey News yearbook comes out and they've got us, oh, they'll be in that 8 or 7 spot like that. I think we are probably 1 year away from, depending on Edmondson and depending on, as Tristan's been putting it, our most important offseason.
Maybe
a decade. Maybe, I mean, yeah. Since the playoff streak.
I want to say we're at the halfway point of this rebuild, because it goes hand in hand with that comment, because you're right on the fence. So I think there's basically 4 phases. Mm-hmm. You're absolute trash and you're trying to win lotteries. And then you're kind of building, you're about 500 or a little below, which is where we're at. Then you're a playoff team. Then you're a contender. So right now we are, that team that, we're watching some guys kind of grow. Some of the prospects are called up, contributing, but we're on that really scary part of the fence where this huge offseason, you absolutely want to hit a home run, be it through free agency with my boy Hurdle the Turtle. Do you make some sort of trade? And then this might be the last, hopefully, this might be the last draft where you can move up in the lottery, because hopefully after that you're going to be good enough that you're maybe drafted in the 20s, but you're a much more competitive team. But yeah, they absolutely need to hit home runs all off season after this year. Otherwise you run that risk of being stuck at this phase or falling back, because guys don't pan out and then they end up leaving when their contracts are up.
Tristan throws out there, he thinks we're 3/5 of the way, says we're a divisional playoff team next year. I will go as far to say that it is possible. But that's us saying, like, with all of these opportunities coming up in the off season, it's possible for us to do it. Now, a whole other part of this conversation is like, how big of a bubble do you want? How long of a window do you want as a playoff contender? Because we could be done with a rebuild and also have to instantly drop out of the playoff conversation because contracts get too heavy. Guys don't pan out like they were supposed to. We have to move draft picks to be competitive, to eke out a playoff spot, or maybe we need to trade guys away to make sure we're, getting home ice advantage in the playoffs. That could kill us fast. You saw that Chicago Blackhawks success, but that was nowhere near as long as, what the Red Wings had, clearly, breaking records. But you know what I mean? Like, you look back at the Blackhawks, and are you guys okay with that long, I guess of a run, or like the LA Kings? For me, I guess I am cool with that. I think we just, as long as we have the right mindset, like for a good chunk of those years in the beginning and a good chunk at the end, we weren't really considering the Blackhawks to be playoff contenders, even though they were still going. So they really only had like that little that they were good to go, and you were considering them for the Stanley Cup, and then it fell fast. And now we see where they're at now with some of those Fleury decisions and the Seth Jones decisions not working out. And, that's all good news because we hate the Blackhawks. But I'm just saying, we definitely have to adjust our mindset and know that we're not going to be looking at, 25 or 26 years of straight playoffs. So that's key too. So to Tristan's point, to saying we could be division playoffs next year, we could get bounced in the first round. Everybody's like, well, Moritz Seider, Lucas Raymond, they're young, they're small, they got to beef up and get more experience. And that's why we lost. We got overpowered by someone. So I'm just playing out these scenarios that we're so far away from, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of how this could all play out. And it really, I think this is what I was coming to before, and I never hit that point. We've got the trade deadline coming up. Steve says something to the effect of full steam ahead. I can't remember verbatim what he said, but it was just this idea that we're probably not going to be buyers at the trade deadline was what the hint sounded like, which is good. He did make mention of, getting some players back. And I think there we're talking about what is this team going to look like when Verona comes back. But the deficit we have right now with the Bruins really looks like, we're looking at, are the Red Wings going to hit, a 10 or 11 game winning streak here to not only catch up, but make some ground. And, will there be enough time in the season if Vrana's coming back and we look that good to actually do that? Do we have the capability? I think any team in the NHL can go on that run. So that's not part of the question. I just think, to Steve's point, and to kind of put this capper on there for what we need to do this season, I think we're going to be sellers again. I think with his statement, we can pretty much just cross off the whole, maybe we can sneak into the playoffs. It just kind of felt like to me, he was saying, nah, we're going to be sellers. Don't worry about that. We're not trading away prospects to squeak into the playoffs. And when that happens, and we were talking earlier about the central scouting list, that's where, with Brad Lambert kind of falling down the list, maybe you snap him up. And with all those centers too, they're good possibility. And then what are you talking? You're talking Edson next year. Then you're talking maybe you're legit 2C, maybe 1C in 2 seasons. Maybe.
Hopefully.
All right, Mike, like I said, we have days and days of content here. Why don't we do Corey Pronman here? Because we have the Dom player cards. What would you rather talk about right now? Should we put it out to the comments? You guys want to see current player cards, or do you want to see Pronman's ranking of the under 23 prospects?
I think we'd rather talk the under 23, if only because that feels like we're going to do a little bit better in that. And it just kind of tickles us to kind of see where Lucas and Mo are at on that list.
Here, then I'll make a couple quick hits here because we can hit some of the funnier ones. Funny like this. This is Dom's player card. This is the picture he picked for Jakub Vrana. I thought was perfect because he's been injured all year. So he's just kind of looking at the player card going, why is everything? How come I don't get 2 lines like everybody else? So anybody watching on YouTube, you can see that confused face that Vrana's got. Mo Seider, Mike, I'd point to the salary he's getting paid now of the $0.9 million is market value $7.8 million.
Wow.
Good gravy. Talk about
hopefully his agent never sees that. God damn, that's gonna destroy our cap space.
Well, it's funny. I made the comment online, like how many guys I hope never see this, but then you're kind of like, well, if we share it with everybody, then Nick Leddy's gonna know he's overpaid. Hronik's overpaid. Even Osterley's overpaid.
It'll kind of even out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I think we'd still end up doing a lot better because you've got a lot of deficits here compared to the ones that we have to overpay or repay. Mark Stahl, $2 million, market value 0.7. But here's another juicy one.
Go back to Mark Stahl for me.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. Market value, he should be a $4 million. Look at that smile.
Yeah.
All right, back to Nedeljkovic.
He's been a good Papa Bear, I think, to
if
I could steal from the Russian 5 there. But yeah, Nedeljkovic too. This is the scary one. His market value right now is $7.5 million. Crazy.
Wow.
Hurricanes did not need to make that move.
That is nuts that we got him for a song. That's still insane to me.
I mean, like you start to, ask yourself why.
You'd have to ask them why they were comfortable doing that. I don't know.
Sorry. I was taking a second to actually find that. So, I highly recommend you guys check those out. We can go deeper into these if you guys want. I did pull away from the comments. Maybe everybody's like,
I know Grice I think is it performance art that we're on the same page with Grice?
Yeah.
Or he just feels worse than he actually is.
Well, these are some of the uglier ones. Adam Ernie valued at $0.6 million. Now here's Rasmussen and Zadina. I actually thought this was pretty crazy that the market value for Rasmussen, based on Dom's ratings, and maybe because you're looking at a center compared to a winger, there's more market value for Rasmussen than for Zadina.
You know what's weird is I know he's got restricted free agency coming up. That feels like right on the money of what Zadina is going to get offered.
The 1.3 million for all the podcast listeners. You know what? That's another part of the conversation we've brought up the last week. Everybody's so, ready to move him, but what's that next contract going to look like? And like we've talked about, there's no rush. If you need to move a guy right now, we're not in that position where we do need to move anybody, unless, like Tristan said, if you feel you can get the most value out of him right now, and you don't like his trajectory, oh my God, where he's trending, Jesus, then trade him. But if you want to try it out, that contract is super affordable. All right, and let's just do this. Where's our boys? Lucas Raymond testing out as a what is that? A top star in the league already. Bertuzzi testing out as a top star in the league. Crazy. Market value $9.2 million according to Dom. He's getting kicked right in the nuts twice.
That's a pretty perfect picture. I think he noticed that 9.2.
Larkin, less value than Bertuzzi. Kind of crazy. You'd think that Dom's player card here, his model, would take into consideration that Bertuzzi's got quite the shooting percentage going, and his expected goals his actual above expected is insane right now. But whatever. And then Dylan's right on the money. 6.9 market value, 6.1 salary. But he's testing out, trending to be moving in the direction of being a star player, goals and points wise. So not yet. Like Bert says, right now he's good to go. But Larkin's moving in that direction. So we went through them anyway. How about that? Thanks, Dom. You guys can find those at The Athletic. And there's Grice, valued at $1.8 million.
Hey, now.
He's a middle of the pack goaltender, middle to bottom. So there you go. He's a bottom.
Perfect for this 500 team. Right down the middle.
Tristan, 2 years, 1.75 for Zadina, fair price, prove it deal. But honestly, there's much better players to get as a top six winger.
Yeah, but as 1% of the cap? If you're going to keep him for 1% of the cap?
Bingo, bango. You've got a guy that can play penalty kill and power play. Mike?
And when we actually get Hurdle the Turtle or better, you're bumping this guy down. I mean, that's a pretty good third liner. I like it a lot.
So, I mean, change your mindset, right? You drafted a hockey player in the first round. That's all that happened. Is that stupid? Gordon says he'll go for that. Gordon, what's going on?
Hey, Gordon. How are you?
Yeah, we don't see too many Gordon comments. I'm back now. Mike, Corey Pronman's under 23 rankings. I was bamboozled into checking this out by Max Boltman, who said, hey, there's a lot of Red Wings. There's a lot at the beginning. There's one smack dab in the middle, and then there's a ton at the end. So, Mike, I guess I'm already showing one of them. You've got Lucas Raymond at number 3. He's got for skate. I mean, this is so him putting Lucas Raymond at number 3. I don't have this in here, but this is Pronman's rankings, is that he's going to be elite. Now, I will throw out there in his rankings, he's also saying Moritz Seider will not be elite, but will be very, very, very good all-star caliber player. So there's his thoughts on the all-star game. But he still is kind of poo-pooing him if you guys read the whole thing. Skating NHL average, so there's some complaints. But then his puck skills, high end and above NHL average on Hockey Sense. His compete is what he is saying is the difference. I think Lucas playing with Tyler Bertuzzi has definitely changed the way that Lucas is playing for Corey Pronman to move him up from where he was number 25, it says, for Pronman. So now he's number 3. Not bad. All Pronman needed to do is, I guess, watch him play hockey. That was the big difference. I know
you wanted to make a focus on Red Wings, but did you happen to see who 1 and 2 were?
Boogers. Yes, I did. We could look that up, right? Everybody's got time. Does anybody need to go anywhere? Anybody got have a previous engagement that
I was just curious.
I can tell you who number 4 is, and I was very happy with who number 4 was. Do you want to take a stab?
Number 4? Is it Mo?
No, it's Zegras.
Oh, shots fired, huh?
Number 1, Andrei Svechnikov from Carolina.
Okay.
He's got him listed as, this isn't just going to be elite skill for scoring. He's got Svechnikov for a good two-way player. And in Jersey, Jack Hughes. I'll keep the list up in case you have any more questions.
No, you can't really complain, and I feel like he's, showcased enough that he's, it transcends outside of Detroit, where people are like excited to watch him play. So yeah, he could jump over to Mo too. I wanted to see their little blurb on him as well.
Did you see his number?
What? Yeah.
Did you see? Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, Mo's number 6, according to Corey Pronman. In September, he had him ranked at 17th. Mike, this is crazy to me. He's got skating, puck skills, hockey sense, compete, all at NHL. Oh, I'm sorry. Compete is at above NHL average, but skating, puck skills, and hockey sense at NHL average.
Can I say hockey sense is where I thought he had the most of a contribution? Because we've talked about it so many. All of our commenters, too, have always mentioned like some heady move that he makes at the blue line, or, to give us possession, or to keep a puck, in the right zone, or get it out of the right zone. I don't know how I feel about that NHL average. I think that's what I would push back the most on. And he feels like a good skater for a guy his size, too. I don't feel like he really gets lost. I don't know.
I just to me, I almost closed out the article because I just thought this was kind of missing the boat. I mean, like skating, what are we talking here? We talking speed, or are we talking the guy that is kicking Zadina's bad pass from his skates to his stick and then going from end to end to put a shot on net? Does that not count as skating? Puck skills as well go into those plays that we've seen again and again. But yeah, hockey sense is number 1, and I definitely would have at least had that at above NHL average, and whatever he had.
I don't want to get too hyperbolic, but
he is the greatest
I know that. I mean, he's not the fastest skater of all time, but I mean, we're in Detroit, right? Where one of the most beloved, defensemen ever is Nick Lidstrom, and he wasn't like a lightning fast skater, but he was always in the right position because he was such a smooth skater. Again, I want to be hyperbolic, but I kind of feel like Mo is always in the right spot. So it's kind of tough for me to stomach and agree with the hockey sense rating and the skating rating.
Yeah, I'll just go harder into it and just say you got it wrong. And I think Mo should be in that top 3 kind of categories that he built. And I think Corey missed something. I think he's still sore by how low he had Moritz Seider ranked on draft day, and the fact that he went 6th overall. I think he's going to hold that against Mo for a long time because he wants to look right. And man, is he crossing his fingers hard that Mo doesn't just keep elevating himself. So I told you we had a couple on the top, one right in the middle. That would be a projected bubble top and middle of the lineup player, or a quality starting goaltender. Mike, that's number 40, Simon Edvinsson, first on that list. Up and down the line here, Edvinsson is NHL average, what Pronman has him at. He was ranked 77th in September, so he moved up 30 spots. I mean, we got to remember, too, a lot of these guys are graduating from this list as well, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird way to organize it, too. Like, he just kind of lumps all those guys into a specific tier, because I was like, like in Madden 08, you could draft a guy and you could make him like a running back or a linebacker or a safety. And this is like, Simon Edvinsson. I see him as like maybe a bubble top forward, or he's like a middle of the lineup defenseman, or he'd probably be a pretty good goaltender. So very diverse skill set there with Simon. Whatever career he wants, he could be any of those 3 things. So.
So as the list continues here, oh shoot, I can't. What is that? Okay, so Rasmussen. Okay, so that's Zadina on the far left. Let me. I've got it blocked for the podcast listeners. All the YouTube folks can't see. Zadina ranked 112th, moved up from 123. Michael Rasmussen ranked 113. Veleno at 116. Mike, can I say when I got to this part where they're all these Red Wings are kind of lumped together, I think Pronman had already said 100 names was enough. I said I'd do 200. Here's here's the rest. Like he just kind of cut out whoever graduated and said these guys haven't moved, and that's how they moved up their 10 spaces or whatever. Because I mean, Zadina was ranked in 123, Rasmussen was 122, and now they're 112 and 113. So Zadina did better than Rasmussen, I guess. And then I don't know what you want to say about like what's the I don't know what's the next piece of that conversation.
How did it's okay if the screen didn't quite grab like it should have, but how come it only has shot for one of those three guys? Did the screen grab just kind of error out?
No, that's everything.
Or they just was that like the cutoff point?
See the little space on Michael Rasmussen? See the line? It goes below compete. So
that's weird.
He just gave up. Like I said, I think Pronman was like, whatever, that names are on there.
I do like that they that he mailed it in with Rasmussen's skating poor.
Yeah. I mean, if that's one thing we're on agreement on, I'll say. I'll give him that.
He nailed that one. All right, I'm back. So the one thing I like with these two, it seems to be based on what you've done and maybe not what maybe what you're projected to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, like, Cossa is, kind of, further down the list there.
But he's still the way the tiers that he puts them in is odd because I agree with you. A lot of it's based off of like statistics. It's based off of like what's been your production and where's that trending, instead of it being, well, I've seen this guy, do these types of moves, and I know he needs to get bigger and get more experience, and eventually that'll all, work itself out. None of that seems to be a part of the conversation in regards to the ranking. Is that fair?
Yeah,
it's not fair, but I think it's accurate to what we're reading here. All right. There was I don't know if you want to what can you do for me here, Mike? What's that called where you just like kind of start talking and you're rambling?
Oh, stretch. Improvise.
Yeah, stretch works.
Yeah.
We're gonna compare a couple players here.
Right.
Saw a trade. Let's talk about it. It's a good trade that Tristan threw out there.
I love trades.
This is an on the fly. Let's take a look.
Did it involve? I haven't seen the comment yet, but before you show me, did it involve Zadina?
How'd you guess?
Ooh, Tristan, you old dog! I knew it'd be Zadina.
All right, let me see if I can cue this up. I did see this though. Tristan threw out there. This article is awful.
Can I say, as much as I love Lucas Raymond, and I know he's leading in points still, I would still probably at least flip Lucas and Mo. But that's just me. Anyway.
I think that's pretty fair. I love Lucas Raymond, but I think you're right. I think Seider should get the higher ranking there than Lucas, even though I've got my Lucas Raymond jersey on the way.
Oh my God!
Tristan says, I do Zadina Rasmussen 2022 third for Martin Necas of Carolina. Or is it Nietzsche's?
It is.
Now, what I'm going to pull up here for all you
It's actually Natchez.
Natchez?
Yeah.
Like the Nature Boy?
Natchez boy, Ric Flair, baby. Yeah,
So,
I pulled up
my man has
hockey
been
reference.
pretty clutch. Tristan is probably I mean, like what I see without actually watching Carolina games is how often he's putting in clutch third period overtime goals, especially last season. I think it became like its own little hashtag. But what we're looking at are the advanced stats for this season, and you just see a guy that is a little bit more complete, especially from the finishing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Comparing Martin and Filip, you've got Filip still in this zone that we've been looking at, and this table's brought from Evolving Hockey. I almost said brought to you by. It's from Evolving Hockey's website, and I don't think you're giving up a ton, but I do. I mean, based on what I know and not being a huge Carolina fan, I'd have to go with Sam's comment here. Is why would Carolina trade him? I feel like they're putting him in a pretty prominent spot, and I don't know if they're getting enough return on those 3 assets. So would I do it? Sure. Would Carolina do it? I don't think so. This might, Tristan, I hate to say it, this might feel like we're just jumbling up all the prospects we're not fans of right now and hoping that Carolina's like, yeah, sure.
I will say, in Tristan's defense,
yeah,
we know Carolina makes questionable trades with the Red Wings, man.
Okay, very good.
Matt, can we explain why they would do it? I think Steve Yzerman can.
I don't think he can.
I was hoping he had that queued up for us.
You'd have to ask them why they were comfortable doing that. I don't know.
That's what he can't explain it. Nobody can explain it. Oh, good. There's a new button now on StreamYard where I can hide the.
But man, Tristan, I think if you say who says no, I got to say Carolina would, because Detroit's given up 2 haven't done it and a third for a guy who's currently doing it.
That's
I think you'd have to either upgrade the draft pick or, instead of a Zadina or Rass, you throw in like a prospect that you don't know anything yet, like a Bergeron.
Now, Tristan says he produces. That's what we need in a top 6 player, not a guy who we hope will produce. Now, this again, that's. Tristan, did you explain why Carolina would take it? Oh boy! All right, there's 1,000 comments.
I don't get that good one. Let me see.
Here we go. He's got cap friendly going. So he's one of the plethora of RFAs the Canes have to sign this summer. And this way they get a player for player value as opposed to just salary, compensation, and offer sheet. I would still say they're not getting player for player. And I think right now, I'll make this argument. Carolina, I apologize for the word I'm about to use. Children who are listening, please cover your ears. They fucked up so bad, it looks like, last season when it came to the RFA market. I think they just want to stick with their guys at this point. And if they've seen them have success, if I was the Hurricanes, I made some bummer moves this past offseason. Now, standings wise, you're first place, your division. Who gives a crap if people are going to look at your moves and go, oh, what a dumb move that was. But it's one of those things where I think we can look at those and say maybe eventually they're going to hurt, right? I think I had them pulled up here. Oh, of course, and my whole computer freezes. But what are you looking at? You're looking at this was brought up. I'm going to steal this point from Puck Soup, but you made a decision to get rid of Nedeljkovic, and now you're hoping Freddie Anderson is going to be your goaltender to get you through playoff rounds. I mean, how many years did we have to see that not work out for Freddie? But yeah, I mean, Kokaniemi's, where this conversation gets really stuck in the mud. That's where I feel like they are going to play it safe. That's where they picked up a guy that, they kind of made a big old song and dance about it. They had fun on Twitter. But now they've got a huge contract to sign for a guy that hasn't really, we're talking a 0.5 point per game so far. Are they paying the guy? Is he playing at that dollar level? And what was he, over 6 off the top of my head? So there's my argument that I think they're going to play it pretty close to the chest and they want to stick with their guys. Now, if the argument too is that Kokaniemi, then that contract is going to hurt them so bad that, they're going to have to move one of those guys and they're going to pick Martin. Anybody catch that I've stopped saying his last name? And then they're going to move Martin. I don't know. That just seems like maybe that is possible, but it just also seems like this domino of moves that just continues to be the wrong choice as they move along. So I don't know if you're just a successful team like Carolina and eventually you just run into these moves where you keep rolling the dice and eventually it stops turning up in your favor, where, I think a lot of things turned up in Carolina's favor over the last 6 years, if we want to put a number on it like that. So, I mean, that's where I'm going to land. I see an exactly Sam.
Well, I'm really interested in kind of get the.
Oh, are we talking? Okay, you're Jed.
Yeah, Natchez boy, Ric Flair. It just might be kind of tough because I agree that Carolina might be having a little bit of an adventure. trying to re-sign some guys, but they're also, I mean, is it Niederreiter?
Yeah.
Making almost $5.5 million. Trocheck making like $5 million. Those guys are going to be unrestricted free agents, about to turn 30, both of them. So, I mean, that's some space right there.
I mean, Niederreiter sticks around. Trocheck's a longer conversation.
Well, I think they might be able to find some room for a guy like this. And I don't know if they want to. I don't know if anybody's trading for Zadina right now. I mean, he's going to be a low cost, not much of a risk, but he's kind of a low cost guy. I think the best bet is probably for the Red Wings to sign him for, what did we say? 1% of the cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what's going to happen is he's going to keep being a Red Wing for the next year or two. That's probably the likeliest outcome.
Wasn't it? That's just Steve playing the same game, and I think you made this point earlier, but that's Steve playing the Robbie Fabry game with his own players, right? We're going to move some guys around. We're going to change his team up. He's going to get a different look, and he's affordable, and the risk level will be low.
Yeah, I think for Zadina to be traded, he has to do something else. He has to get to a point where we actually want to give him, more money in the off season for him to have like tradable value. So I think he's kind of a nothing. And if you're saying a third rounder, then I don't even know why we're tearing apart Tristan's trade. I really like the idea. I just think trying to move Zadina right now it's just going to be it's a nothing. I can't see anyone really wanting to do that right now.
Well, I'll throw this out there. So Tristan did say throw in a second, and I think that makes it juicier for Carolina. But does that push you over the edge as Steve Yzerman? Are you now saying no? Are you?
Well, I like the idea again because it's you're getting a center, a guy who's already productive. I just think you'd have to throw in something a little bit sexier, something that for us, I think we're jumping off like. We talked him into a second, and we're giving you two. By almost all accounts, Rasmussen, poor skater. Zadina, guy who hasn't made it. I think you'd have to throw in one sexy item that you would be like, didn't want to have to include him.
I'm taking a look too. Is there a bad contract we can? I mean, Cote Kanyemi might be.
Like try and do Carolina a favor, like a cap favor.
Maybe.
Ooh, you'd have to take like what? Like how's Jordan Stahl? How's he doing?
Can we pull up his stats too? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and play this game of like rolling through Cap Friendly and looking at Carolina's roster, but definitely the idea.
It's like my favorite thing to do.
I absolutely hate that. It's horrible podcasting.
So like Stahl is at just the the coloring book stats, which are the ones that are my level. He's got 10 points in 31 games. He's 33. He's making is it $6 million? I mean you'd have to take the captain off the books for $6 million. I think that's a good idea to try to entice them to open.
What we just did? We just gave them cap space. So that they could sign Martin. I mean, that's what they want the cap space for. So that makes zero sense to do that. Not your trade, Tristan, but what I just suggested. So we're working this, we're workshopping this into the mud right now. I don't know. Tristan, I'll say this. If they said yes, I'd absolutely do it. I think there's enough. There's enough we've seen from Rasmussen and Zadina for me to look at this other opportunity and say I'm good to move forward. I just, we're also talking 22 for 22, like age wise. So, man, yeah, it's so hard to picture the situation.
Do you think that because I think I like Tristan's idea a lot because of the age, because of the position. He's already productive. Does it entice them enough to make it like Veleno instead of Rasmussen?
Can I say this? Everybody's going to unsubscribe. Either one of those guys, I'd be fine at this point. And it's not to say I hate them, but I just think we've seen enough from Natchez to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, if we're going to do a trade like that, we got to find that sexy piece. And, that's the gap.
Right. I mean, it is another thing, too. I'm kind of overvaluing like a second-round pick right now because don't we have 2 second-rounders? So, yeah, let's get rid of one. What am I worried about that for? We always make that point of you're looking to get a full-time NHLer and you're getting a guy who's your top 6 center. So, yeah. Center, 2 prospects, kind of prospects. Go for it. Let's do it. Sound good?
I'm in.
All right. Now Tristan's like, fine. Zadina, Berggren, 2022 second-round pick.
Woo! Man, who says no?
We do, right? That's way too much.
Is it? A second-round guy, which, we know those pan out, what? Did we figure out, 10% of the time, if that? Then Berggren, who's still, maybe. Zadina, who's hasn't done it yet. For a productive center.
All right, we're gonna play this game.
we're going in. We're going in the rabbit hole.
Let's see if we can pull out.
Do you have the JFresh for Natchez?
I can pull that up. I was gonna pull up Dom's new player card so I could see what he's got him valued at for that next cap hit. All right, what am I doing? I'm doing Carolina Hurricanes. Here we go, everybody. Mike hates it. Mike hates pulling the curtain back, but
let's see that sausage get made. Let's
here
turn
we
up
go.
the pig guts.
NHL player cards from Dom. Oh,
little
boy,
blood sausage.
Loading like porn from 1999. It's slow burn.
Still very watchable though in my young eyes. Go ahead.
Do you want me? I should probably throw this into like the slideshow or something, right? Or you know what? I can't. All right, I'll just read it. Can I read it? Let me back up.
Yeah, that's as fun.
Natchez market value $5.4 million. So you could make the argument right now that's what you're dropping, or you have what? Where's let's do Rasmussen first because he's got the longer deal. You've got 1.46 million Rasmussen, probably around 2 mil or under for Zadina. Or wait, no, we were talking Berggren, so even cheaper. And Berggren, how old's my boy right now? He's 21. And we kind of like the trajectory of Berggren right now. He kind of looks like he's going to be somewhere in that middle 6. So you could make the argument that he's going to be right there with Natchez. So what's that next? You ready to move on already? Or we want to see what this looks like? What if we give him away and he's amazing? He's having a pretty good season in the AHL. He hasn't done anything in the AHL that makes me think that it's not worth the try. So I'm going to say we say no to that.
I think that is an offer that Carolina would look at. And ultimately, I'd give to Kaiser, spice it up.
Silver.
Yeah, Silver from way downtown. Bang. Love it.
Silver. Hit us up, admin@bodpodcast.com, man. I got to send you your stuff. Throw us, give me your size, color, and your address. We can actually.
He means for your shirt. He's not doing like personal.
Yeah. How big is it?
Yeah. Yeah, you won, Silver. You got to get your prize. Man.
Did you lose your train of thought? Well, JM says not Bergie.
That's
Sam
what I mean. It's going to take Bergie.
Sam says now they're listening, which I'd agree with that. But then I'm Steve. I'm good at that first trade that Tristan threw out there is more along the lines of what Steve does, right? Like he's always bamboozling
when he swindles people.
Yeah. So I feel like Steve is like, why? No, let's see how Berggren works out. But yeah, performance art has up here. I mean, come on, like Zadina, Rasmussen, and Hronek. I don't don't think
Can I
anybody
say-
wants Hronek right now. I think if you're asking people to take Zadina and Rasmussen, I also don't think that they're ready to pull any triggers on Hronek, because I think he's grading out as like one of the worst defensemen in the league the last couple of years.
You're going to get at least, he could still be a 3-4 defenseman right now, right? And you're going to say, you get two maybes. See if one of them pans out. It's just, man, I think you either got to get a little younger or a little sexier.
I mean, yeah, if I had to pick one of these trades that I'd want to work, I'm going with performance art. I'm Silver 33. This is 44. I'm going with the DeKaiser one. Yeah, but that's me in my fantasy world. Well, yeah, we're kind of slowing down here. I feel like, did we have any other content?
We are at hour 20. Yeah.
Yeah, we might need to break this up into 2 podcast episodes, but yeah, this has been fun. Tristan coming in with his own content today. We talked about Nick. We talked about Corey Pronman's rankings. We fit in all of Dom's player cards. That was fun. Right, we all had a great time. We all got to meet Kodak Black for the first time. At least I did. I had no idea who he was until this morning. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot in there. And how many weeks away are we from the trade deadline? Damn, it's in March, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a ways. I think, if you want to bring up a timeline, we're month away from getting some good Verona news, I think.
Man, that's going to be fascinating. God, this is just going to be the most fascinating trade deadline in off season to see if we actually do end up being sellers or, my God, buyers. If Verona just comes back and it's lightning in a bottle. Woo!
Remember when we talked about if we were doing Jay Fresh's team cards and we were grading out at 78 points? And we said that Lucas Raymond would have to turn out to be 4 Connor McDavids for us to make it to the playoffs. So Verona's got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time to get us to catch up to Boston. But yeah, so
stupid reality. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I'm reading some of the conversations going on here.
I'll throw them in.
Well, Sam's thrown out there. Stevie Y has mastered the use of pause. He's comfortable with silence. And then Tristan goes, lol. This is from JM that he's lolling. Stevie just convinces other teams that their players suck. That's how he does it. So Tristan goes, it'd be funny if he came in with fake Corsi stats from Jay Fresh and just starts ripping the other team's player to convince them that they have zero value. I would love to be in one of those rooms, especially those arbitration rooms. But man, that would be a winner. We got to sneak a Mike in there at some point, or Mike. All right, that wasn't funny, so it's time to wrap up. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. For podcast listeners, watch out! Here comes the theme song. It's coming up in a couple of seconds. If you guys could subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, does us the most good for getting found on the old podcasts. Spotify, if you could rate us, if you guys are listening on Spotify, you can now do that. It does us a great deal of good to be found there as well. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us right now. I see 14 people watching. I better see 14 likes when we sign off, at least 14. And what do we got? Yeah, the subscriber numbers jumped up quite a bit last week. So I got to thank you guys for that. We jumped over 600. We want to hit 1,000 by the end of 2022. So only way we could do that is if you're watching now and you had the tiniest bit of fun, hit the subscribe button, because why not? All right. Hey, Dogbone, thank you so much for subscribing.
Thanks, Dogbone.
I appreciate it. They're popping up on the old phone. If there's more people subscribing, my phone is only letting me know that Dogbone did it. So Dogbone, A+, my man. All right. And homework, Silver 3344. Hit us up on our goddamn email, man. You got free stuff coming your way. Hit us up. You can get
admin at bodpodcast.com.
I think that's it. Oh yeah, there was another winner that didn't respond to us either. Whoever won first comment in our last episode, Sorry we don't do that every episode. All right. Signing off. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good one.